Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Guys, it's been so long since I was on camera shooting. It's been such a long time. I'm back and I will try to just do my thing and find interesting stuff to talk about, which is really hard. I mean, I'm so used to talking about the Senzo Meyiwa trial. It's that important that deviating to other stories is just so difficult for me. I don't know what is it, but I feel like I'm obsessed about the Senzo Meyiwa trial at this point. But there has been quite an interesting development. It's a story that I've been keeping a close eye on, and I have been interested in it. The last time I did an update on Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and prophetess, self-proclaimed prophet and prophetess Mary Bushiri. It was around 2 years ago, I think, and I was wanting to talk about the extradition process that they were going through and how the chances were looking not promising that they would be able to bring them back to South Africa so that they stand trial for the charges that were pinned against them. It has been an interesting journey, and now we just discover two crucial points, or rather important information. One, I just saw a very interesting video of them dancing at their church. I don't know whether they are celebrating that they are coming back to South Africa, or they're celebrating because they can see that they are almost there. The road to victory for them is that close and that near. I don't know. I don't know what is it to celebrate with them being extradited, but there's a clause, there's a pause. Maybe the reason why they're celebrating is because they know that they might just get off on these charges, and I'm going to try and explain why. So, the Malawian court has ruled that the self-proclaimed prophet Shepherd Bushiri can be extradited to South Africa. This is a ruling, that the judge made yesterday. It's just a ruling, right? I was expecting that as soon as the ruling is made, maybe it would be like 2 or 3 days, and then the judgment is read, and then the order is then done, and then they are brought back into South Africa. This whole process has taken over, I think, 5 years. We're now on 2025, so it's 4 or 5 years, because they started it in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So now we are in a very tricky situation where the South African government is trying to prove a point, and the NPA is trying to prove that they are working and they can handle extradition cases. And by the way, these extradition cases are not cheap. They're very expensive. So you can imagine, from a period of 5 years. And remember, there was a time that they were opting to do the extradition process virtually via Zoom or via Microsoft, what is it called? The Microsoft phoning. It's sort of like a Zoom service. I forgot what it's called. They were opting that it be done virtually. And Bushiri's lawyer applied for that process to not happen, and he gave his reasons that it's best for the South African legal NPA to go to Malawi to have the extradition process physically there at Malawi. So they got their way. The South African NPA went over there. I think it was 2 or 3 members of the NPA that went over there to Malawi and have been there ever since, trying to extradite Bushiri from South Africa, from Malawi. That is, of course, that is from Malawi. So Bushiri fled South Africa for his native nation of Malawi in November 2020. And this was days after he and his wife, Mary, were released on a 200,000 rands bail each. So South Africa then submitted an extradition request to Malawi, seeking their return to stand trial on a raft of charges. These charges including him forcing himself on other women or men, allegedly violating bail conditions, contravention of the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act, Banking Act, Civil Aviation Act, and Immigration Act. And the only reason why I say men or female is because I really don't know for sure. You know, with the prophets and the shepherds and these days and the men of God, you never really know. Okay, so the victims, of course, who have opened the charges against them have not been made public yet. We were still awaiting the trial to find out exactly who did he force himself on and all of these charges that were up against him, what exactly was happening there. And remember how he fled during the pandemic? It was also alleged that he may have gotten assistance from very important people in the country. There were allegations that he used Waterkloof base. Those were the allegations that he got a jet there and he flew to Malawi. So his escape was very glamorous and very expensive. And it was being alleged that there are some people that could have assisted with him that are very powerful in government that could have assisted him to flee. Those were the allegations around that time. And yes, he was found months later that he went to Malawi. I mean, he even built a city in Malawi. I don't know whether that city existed on social media or it actually existed in real life, but he was making powerful moves there in Malawi, okay? So the last time that I honestly tried doing an update on the Bushiris, the High Court in Malawi had overturned an earlier ruling that witnesses in South Africa needed to come and testify, not testify virtually, but come and testify like physically at Malawi, at the Malawian Magistrate Court. And the South African Justice Department said that as the case is not a criminal trial, only those with knowledge of the extradition case would be required to present themselves. So most importantly, the judgment also really drew a very important distinction to say that this is not a trial within a trial, and that was coming from one of the people from the department. And they said that what they want is people who have intimate knowledge of investigation itself to appear. So what has taken place in summary, if I were to summarize everything that you needed to know that was valuable and that was important, is that what has taken place, of the 13 charges that were against the Bushiris, 10 of them have been dropped. So they are now left with 3 charges. So out of the 3 charges now, it's up to the NPA to see if they are going to use them and whether they would be sufficient to extradite them. Now, the magistrate in Malawi has given him 30 days, or given them, the couple, 30 days to appeal. 30 days to appeal. And as I was doing my research, it was also revealed that he was given 30 days, but I didn't understand what is the 30 days for, you know. And it was not clear to me why is he being given 30 days before the extradition occurs. But it seems as if it's him. He's been given a chance to appeal the ruling that the Malawian magistrate has made. So the NPA, they are speaking like this is a victory. They are all over the media. So I'm like, okay, you guys are speaking like you have this under the bag. He's definitely coming. interesting times that we're living in, guys. Very interesting times. So I'm just gonna read also some of the details that maybe I may have missed or you guys may have missed. But the Lilongwe Chief Resident Magistrate Court on Wednesday suspended its ruling for 30 days after initially ruling that Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and wife Mary should be put in custody awaiting extradition to South Africa to answer charges. During court proceedings, High Court Judge Madalitso Chimwaza, who was handling the case as the chief resident magistrate, ruled that out of the 10 charges the two were facing, there was sufficient evidence in 3 cases. So out of the 10 charges. So I thought that it was 13 charges initially, but turns out it was 10. And only 3 cases were sufficient and has sufficient evidence. So the cases are those of him forcing himself on other people, forgery and fraud, and contravening bail conditions. So Chimwaza said Prophet Bushiri should answer to the charges of him forcing himself on other people, charges on 3 complaints out of 8 complaints. So of the one of forcing himself on other people, the charges, 3 charges, 3 complaints out of the 8 complaints that were there, and answer the 2 other offenses together with his wife. So it looks like he will be answering only to 3 out of the 8 that were given, and the 2 other offenses he will be standing with his wife. However, the defense lawyer Wapona Kita prayed for the stay as he indicated that he wanted to seek bail for the 2 and appeal the ruling. However, Chimwaza initially said that the court could not grant the 2 bail and that the bail could be granted by the High Court. So later, the wish was granted, and in an interview, Kita said that the defense was happy that the court agreed with it to stay the ruling. So he said, this is Kita, he said that they are happy that the court agreed with them on the issues of the stay, and the issue of bail had not been handled because she said that that's for the High Court to decide. But now the fact that she has stayed her decision for 30 days means that they are going to go back to the same position as they were before the ruling. So this lawyer is not counting that ruling. That ruling, it doesn't look like it's of importance to them. I don't know if it makes sense. It's like maybe, just maybe, there's a strategy in place that they have to overcome. I mean, they managed to reduce from 10 charges all the way to 3. So maybe they have tricks up their sleeves. Maybe there is something, just maybe there's something that they're planning and they're cooking, allegedly. So he said that the defense would sit down to map the way forward. And they said that they have 30 days. They will sit down. They haven't gotten a copy of the judgment. So right now it's too early to say anything. They were all listening to her, but they need to go through the judgment and decide on what will be their grounds of appeal. So yes, Kita, the lawyer of Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and Prophetess Mary, are planning to appeal. Confirmed. And the Director of Public Prosecutions, Masauko Chamkakala, said that the state would wait for the defense to map the way forward on the case. And he said that they were representing the interest of the public of the South African government, and they did their best that they could, but obviously they have been given the order that there is a stay for about 30 days. Well, I was under the impression that it's 60 days because I was reading other reports, but it's actually 30 days. So they'll be given a month to appeal. So he said that we will be waiting to see documentation from the accused persons in terms of what will be their grounds, and then we'll pick up after that. Kara said. So they will be waiting to see the documentation from the accused persons in terms of what will be their grounds. So they will have to wait 30 more days to see what the appeal on the grounds for the appeal of this judgment will be. You know the way Bushiri and his wife were dancing in that church? I think I should place the video here. I forgot it, but I should have actually placed it here so you guys can see. But I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna try and put it here so that you guys can see the dancing. The very disturbing dancing. I don't know what they were celebrating. Were they celebrating that they are going to win the appeal? Or are they celebrating that they're coming back to South Africa? Which is highly unlikely that they'd be celebrating to come back to South Africa, because that means more trouble. So my guess is that they are celebrating because they've been assured by their lawyers that their appeal, they're going to win it. And they may end up not being extradited after all. But that's just me. Me hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst, if you know what I'm saying. So he said that this means that the Bushiri remains free, and the Bushiris looked jovial as they arrived at court premises on Wednesday. Among other things, they greeted sympathizers. So they still have sympathizers. But the Bushiris left South Africa in 2020 and they cited safety concerns. So yes, they did say that Bushiri was saying he had going around making videos claiming that his life was in danger, and that's why he ran away after he got bail. He ran away immediately, him and his wife. They ran away immediately after getting bail. When they said ka, they did not wait for the sunrise in the middle of the night. And that's the last time we saw them in South Africa. So I was having a conversation with Mr. Anonymous offline via WhatsApp, and I was letting him know, I was picking his brain just to find out what he thinks about this whole situation. And he brought up something very interesting. Guys, remember that the VAT increase, most of us are not happy about it, right? The whole nation were not happy about VAT increase and what happened with the budget speech, and the fact that of all the other things that they could have done, they just saw it best to make life even more difficult for us, the poor person, us who do not have millions and millions, us who are not wealthy, okay? So everything, the cost of living is about to increase yet again because of the VAT increase. I'm talking food prices, I'm talking oil. So we are not happy. The mood is kind of somber in the country because already it's a struggle. It's a struggle to just make ends meet. And now they just decided to make things a little bit more harder again for us, the normal people. They are, of course, not going to feel this VAT increase. Your parliamentarians and those people who are sitting there in government offices and earning a lot of money, they're not going to feel the impact. It's the people that are, from middle class downwards all the way to people that only depend on the grant that are going to be feeling this pinch of this VAT increase. And they did say that they're going to be increasing it with 0.5%, and then they will be increasing it again with 0.5% until ultimately it's 16%. And I'm just like, man, this is not right. But what can we do? There's nothing we can do. We are helpless right now in the state that we're in. So it seems like there was a quick media thing to just shift the focus so that we don't linger on VAT increase that much, but we start now focusing on Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, because it was a big story 5 years ago and now it feels like it needs to be a big story yet again. And I find it very coincidental because this whole Bushiri extradition thing, it's Kumbujo Ntaveni, who is the minister in the presidency, who's making announcements. Where is the Minister of Justice? Where is the Minister of where is the head of the NPA, Shamila Batoy? Why is she the one making these announcements while she's in the ministry of the presidency. It doesn't make sense to me. And every time she pops up in these press conferences, it's just I just feel like, why her? Like, the department that she deals with, like, why is she speaking on this particular thing? Even with the whole we'll smoke them out situation with the people that were stuck underground.
We're not sending help to criminals. We're going to smoke them out. They will come out.
Why her? As the minister in the presidency, what has that got to do with mining? Don't we have a minister of environmental affairs anymore? Maybe there should be a minister of mining. So I just find that she's all over in these departments, in this GNU, and I don't know. Every time she pops up, I just know that, hey, something is happening, right? But I'm not gonna say much on that. I'm just kind of concerned about it. So also, I was wondering, the dancing videos. Why is Prophet Bushiri now dancing in the church and being all excited? Well, reports were saying that when the news broke out of their extradition, Bushiri and his wife couldn't help but dance. And their interpretation was that they were taunting the court, seemingly mocking the legal proceedings and brushing off the case as nothing more than a minor inconvenience. This is concerning. This is worrying, you guys. This is worrying. This is sending a signal of saying the NPA might lose this one, but we'll watch and see. Maybe they have something up their sleeve. Let's see what happens in the next 30 days and how they're gonna overcome and counteract that appeal. But it's already not a good sign that charges moved from being 10 to 3. It's not that promising. It's not. And I want NPA. I want marry NPA, guys. Well, Bushiri's case is very interesting and somewhat similar also to Chidima's situation, because there were allegations that Prophet Shepherd Bushiri was coming in and out of South Africa. There were allegations because there were posters now that were making rounds of him, and the fact that his churches, some of his branches of his church still exist in South Africa and are being run like well-oiled machines is also very interesting. It's a very interesting thing that I've been observing, that asazi, guys, asazi. Let's just wait and see before we come to dangerous conclusions. Let's give the NPA a chance yet again. Until the next one, you guys, I'll see you on the next upload.